What is up? Work here, and this is a 20 Throne of Tides. Is that what this place is called? I forget. I have LVY, and I can actually do ready checks and group checks and all the things you need to do to be a party leader. Incredible. Look at this retro 4x3 intro. So this is a guild group, and rather my guild. Um, Super geared Vengeance Demon Hunter here, medium geared pretty much everyone else. The warrior that is an alt, still having like reasonable gear, and Scrysis, our Ogvoker, is just kind of coming back from last season, so not quite geared at all. But having an Ogvoker in general is very nice. I know this is probably obvious. I've like heard about it a lot, but I didn't play very much last season when the Ogvoker came out, and I've yet to run many high keys with one. But even with a undergeared Ogvoker, it is certainly feelable the difference. The tank has I think it's percentage based even. I'm not sure how they scale with gear, but blistering scales big defensive for the tank. Not that this tank needs one at all here, but stamina buff for everybody, and then DPS buff as well. Even at low gears, very very nice. And this is especially the case on Tyrannical, where the bosses, if the mechanic isn't done right, or even sometimes if it is done right, will just kill you. So it's kind of nice to experience playing with or healing when there's a Ogvoker in the group. This is one of my first 20s doing it, so kind of cool to see it now. Trash again this week. Tyrannical, not a ton to talk about. It's normally all about crushing depths, just absolutely killing people and laughing about how I can't fix your overheal of like 1.2 million immediately. And if you basically take any damage before I've healed like a million to get the overheal shield gone, you will die. And there's a lot of things that will just kill you. So it's mostly chain running back and dying to crushing depths. But otherwise, even again, our Ogvoker, who does not have a ton of HP, not getting one shot by that frontal, she probably would next week. I would guess. Um, until she gets kind of into the 470s with gear level. So the first trash gauntlet, not too much of an issue there. Did no one even die? Is that possible? I feel like I only have one battle res there. I do have the battle res tracker now, that weak aura. I see that everyone has that. I never noticed it, and I never knew how people knew if you had battle reses or not. But I have that here. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what to do in this trash bowl. I don't know what's going on. I see the sentinels. I think they're gonna drop the crushing depths, and I'm just sitting on the casters here and having them not heal. But again, you can see the Vengeance Demon Hunter. It's not the time for me to add kicks yet. There's just infinite sigils going out. I don't think there's been a single cast. There's the stun. I'm dispelling something. I don't really know what's going on. Again, running with this Vengeance Demon Hunter specifically, it's like I don't have to do very much. So how is it I'm supposed to out heal this even now? Okay, we got through it on Fortified, right? That's going to be tough, but we actually out healed the Crushing Depth thing there. Someone said that was line of sightable. Where would you line of sight here? I guess behind a column. But then someone else said it was fixed, so we just kind of tank our way through this here. I think that was an accidental darkness. He said that his darkness is different on Vengeance and Havoc, and he does Havoc in the raid, so understandable. So we stand here. This is an LOS pull. There are tornadoes, so some of us might just get yeeted out in general. That looked like a blistering scales sneaky cast on our tank. And now we're kind of free to move around the country. What do those circles do? I don't know. I think it looks like did I dispel some of them? Maybe I did. And again, infinite silences going out here, group silences. I never know the name of spells because he's just constantly kicking the hit. Like I think I kicked something there. I've got a blinding. And we're alive. And there's no crushing depth in this group. I think I need to dispel. There we go. Not too delayed. I have been learning and been told that, mythic plus high dispels are of like the highest priority. You need to dispel immediately because they usually will kill you. There's just in this next week, Fortified 20, the dispel dots, it's like that person's dead if you don't like instantly dispel them, or they're not defensing and you're pumping heals into them. So try to be on top of that, and also doing heroic Farok over and over and over again. Um, I have it on my weak core that when my dispel comes off cooldown, it like yells at me. So that's also being helpful here. That frontal not taking you to 10% health. What is this, a joke? That this on the higher fort keys is I don't know, it's not too bad, but like if there's an overlap and two people get the frontal, that's usually a dead person to some degree. But again, on the tyrannical, we're just chilling here. It's not doing any real damage. This thing is just a large health pool. The normally scary thing in this room are those dogs. So comboing up anything with the dogs, they're just random jumping damage. Very much like the little dinosaurs in Atal or the cats in Thicket. This is an LOS pull. I do this wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'm the healer and I was trying to heal someone. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I pop out too early. Right there, they stop moving. So that's a big mistake on my part. Maybe everyone's mistake. I'm not sure. I should have stayed in the corner a little bit. And I'm a little stuck here right now and trying to dispel. And it was a little bit too much for me all at once. Maybe got flustered a little bit. Definitely flustered. There's a lot going on here. How long till I use my dispel? Looks like it's back up there. But this was not done well on my I think on maybe multiple people's part, but anyway, I was definitely flustered and like stuck on the side. And yeah, people are dying. Just a lot going on. Looks like I haven't committed a kick yet. That's probably a huge problem, but we're gonna kick that heal. No, okay, yeah. So not not well handled on my part. I definitely got flustered when like the casters just got stuck in the back, and which was my fault for like letting them see me. And I need to stay in my little hidey place a little bit longer until they make it there. And then mostly that is look for the dispels. Maybe bop someone so that they have a chance of living. Maybe bop myself, not the tank. And pick someone who I'm gonna try to kick. Probably that healing ad being like the most offensive, and then just normal healing. However, did not do really any of those things there. But we're gonna keep living. And those mistakes on fortified, we would have died like 10 more times or something because they would have been just like one-shotting everybody. I'm pretty sure I ran back and our Ogvoker died immediately. I wasn't there to help out. And again, when there's less people, there's more likely you're going to get double cast on and that the kicks are going to go off. And that's what happens when it goes a little wrong. It starts to go a lot of wrong at the end. So we have a sentinel on the left. I feel like he like tries to do it. No, he doesn't. Okay, I was gonna say like a little like goodbye crushing depths would be would be pretty sad. But looks like we're doing okay. That was a lot of pulls at once. I didn't realize how big that pull was. That was like a triple with the dogs. I guess on Tyrannical that's acceptable. That on that next week might be not livable at all for us. But again, I should have LOS'd better. We are waiting for our Og friend here, and let's see this boss. So they were trying to communicate the tech to me of this fight, and I don't do it right. But I guess like the chain lightning, it goes to you, and then it goes to the closest person after that. So I guess if we all stand in the right place, that the second cast will always go back to the tank, and that our tank can basically heal himself. Not a huge issue. So that case, so that's like probably as bad as it can go, and that's what we're looking to prevent. That was a lot of damage. A higher key, we would have all been dead probably. Um, so I'm still struggling to understand the formation here, but our tank is somewhere. I'm trying to get nameplates back on players, and I can't get it. I just can't. Okay, I see the tank now. um, so we're all supposed to say kind of like in corner, like so that the tank's the closest person. And I don't think we're doing it. I think in the end they're like, oh, maybe we'll put markers down. I was like, we could use markers. I don't mind being told literally where to stand on fights. That's helpful. I also don't have nameplates, and we didn't like put a square on the tank. So I definitely now am way more as when I'm healing, way more concerned about player position. And there's mechanics about position, and maybe even as a holy paladin, I'm supposed to be the bait, be the ranged baiter here. We have actual ranged players here, but there's a lot of times where it's like DH rogue or DH, and whatever. I'm the ranged. Go chill out in the back. Starts to matter more and more on mostly boss mechanics that like we need a reliable, known ranged person to actually bait the mechanic. Though sometimes it has to be actually a ranged player. It can't just be me farthest away. So it does depend. So this at lower keys um, was never aware of mechanics that were happening. I still kind of unaware of it, and it's mostly fine. I think it's basically the worst. It looks like we're doing it now. Is if a chain lightning's between the squishies, that's bad, basically. So it looks like we're kind of pulling it off now. Um, not too bad at all. But it's still like not. I still like kind of forget that that happens and that we actually have to stand in a way the chain lightning doesn't kill all the DPS and it goes back to the tank. Good to know. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot happening. I'm still working on being able to be mindful of the position of our uh, other players in the group. And this is also a problem on Fall. Fall is my worst dungeon by far. I'm also not realizing that this boss is immune during this, but I'm mostly just getting holy power back. But I should probably be on, one of those actually mobs who are taking damage at the moment. I didn't realize that until watching this back again. So maybe DPS on the ads, and then again, we're trying to position so that the closest person to me is our tank. I think that is not gone well here. That was definitely chain damage on a bunch of other people. But overall, 20 Tyrannical for her, not enough to start one-shotting people that do it wrong. So here we are. Was that half of my health, something like that? So I imagine a little bit more than First Crisis. But I imagine the next key up 21, that might start to just like actually delete people if you do it wrong. Or I don't know how many times it bounces, but next key level up, if we did that wrong, it probably starts to just one-shot you, unless you're like pre-defensiving it. I'm still a little bit like looking at my rotation and not always the most aware of like when abilities are going off. I have the weak aura there, and I should be watching the timings for when the boss is coming, but I'm still kind of just like tunneling my rotation. Wow. Oh, I forgot this happened. Okay, so our warlock tab targeted or something the pack back there, and I ate 2 water bolts and whatever boss damage, and I was like, wow, that seems unhealable. Because it is. Because normally, if we meant to pull that, we would be kicking all that stuff, and those are just free casting onto me. So that's a bit of a wipe there. But at least we wiped right out of the gate, right? And the run back is trivial. So that's just basically death timer there. That's not so bad. Other dungeons or this boss, if that had happened, like 5 minutes into the fight, that's certainly um risking the key. But that's not too bad. Maybe we all have our cooldowns back. If I'm looking at the battle res timer, we have 2 battle reses. This is also good, and I feel like I probably die here. If this is that run, I definitely die. This fight, good to have bubble. I burn it too early. So what's gonna happen is this happens in like the last fight too. That DPS are gonna get some circles on them. I think this is it, and then it drops them there. Someone baited it a little bit far out, but this is still recoverable. And then from those, ads are going to spawn. There's also this knockback. That's the major I need to heal. Scryce is not getting one-shot by it, but not too far from being one-shot from it. I'm not sure as Holy Paladin I can do anything about helping push those back. I don't really have like an AoE button, but I should maybe be trying to target those, but I melee. I don't know. I'm not sure that I have anything that can really help. I know that like Mistweaver is really good for kicking those things back, and I heard BM Hunter is apparently really good at that too. But this becomes a bit of an issue in one of the next cycles. Our Warrior's getting chunked too. This isn't his main, so his main's like way more geared and probably would not be have gotten chunked that hard. I am at risk of dying. I think that's the bubble commit right there. I think I stepped in the ink, and maybe I'm just like kind of panicking. And when I see everyone's health bars go down, it's like, uh-oh. I don't think I had Divine Toll or Daybreak either. So that's probably what's committed the bubble and sealed my death, basically. That bubble was... There wasn't really any other damage coming out, but I was a little afraid, and I'm still standing in the bad, and the frontal wasn't too bad. I didn't get knocked into absolute oblivion, but I am not personally managing like this as well as I could. So if Scrysis is like at all below 100% health, I think she basically dies to that. So it's mostly just like an HP gear thing. and I was mid being flustered, so I didn't get her back to 100, and she died, and that is certainly what happens. Uh, Not the worst bait. The issue now is that directly to the right of me, ahead of me, is a pack of mobs that killed me earlier. We don't want to run into that, and I am now stuck right now, pretty much, right? I can't really run to the right. These oozes hurt a lot, and I have burned bubble, so we're popping our defenses. We're trying to, and no. Also, I kill the party if I run to the right and pull the mob. So that's certainly a bit of a bubble moment there. And maybe just bad anticipation of on my part that I need to get out of there. Our lock also died. It was just chaos, and I just probably didn't pre-plan movement correctly enough. And our two reps, see how close those mobs are. If I pull those mobs, obviously everyone dies probably. So at least I didn't pull them, but I was close to pulling them. Anyway, not great movement on my part. I think I get rezzed here, but look how mobile Vengeance is. Look at they backflips over here in a second, right? So these are all coming in, and then super jumps out. I remember this. Comes flying out like crazy. There he is. And lands into a B-res. Uh, pretty funny, pretty cool. And just try to get everyone back up before we die again. So just get everyone up here, and yeah, so I think we certainly need to just maybe there's something I can do to help push back the ads. And the way this works is like eventually we kind of end up in the corner, and I need some sort of I could really use basically my bubble to be able to escape them in that eventual phase that's going to happen. But I don't chain run Throne of Tides as healer, so wasn't on my mind that like, oh yeah, I remember bubble. So that's why I like making these videos. Is like next time it's like you certainly want to save bubble for like this part of it. I'm gonna get clipped here. Not enough to kill me. I don't know if on like fortify that kills you because I've definitely been killed by that before, but didn't quite make it. I think the horse charges are down, or maybe there it is back now. And we don't res anyone because I guess once someone's down there and you pull one of the mobs, you res downstairs. So that was the call. I didn't res them. I just ran through and almost died. Pretty sounds like sounds like this dungeon. The next part coming up, I'm trying to remember. I think this is the part that the mobs are gonna start pulling you to them. So I'm always like, oh, I'm like not gonna get there in time, and then I get like yoinked into there. And we're gonna pop the everything just to get everyone back up to full, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna start getting like yoinked around if it hasn't already been happening. There's also a lion frontal, and I don't remember there's any dispels, but that definitely happens. You don't actually have to commit movement, but it doesn't hurt. And I remember Warlock being like, I'm just dead. I don't know why. It probably makes sense. Maybe you have to be like super proactive about having like the demonic, not the gate, but whatever the teleporter is. But it's like, I don't know. That's tough for casters, I guess. On Tyrannical, this isn't too bad. I think if you probably eat that purple, it does kill you. It is definitely tight. You should definitely save for committing some sort of movement ability, but it's happening so frequently you're not going to be able to. You just start W keying out of there. That was playing that frontal maybe way too close, but this is a relatively free walk back. Luckily, unlike Dark Heart Thicket, where like if you wipe towards the end, it's like you're walking the whole dungeon again. It's pretty unforgiving there, as I've wiped on 20s this week to the last boss over and over again. It's like what I do now. We're gonna hope that a little gear, I'm able to survive Prey in the Week a little bit better. Let me just get up to like actual 482. We're gonna get all of our myth here, 4-slot myth tier, hopefully, that sort of stuff. Just extra HP is just gonna help a little bit there. Oh, okay, so that's a raging immune, so GG. Can't do anything there. And yeah, we're just avoiding frontals and getting pulled in every once in a while here. The next boss, the main thing to remember is to 1, kill the totem, dispel the friends, and 2, that the tank is dying. This tank is like super geared. I don't think he probably fears too much at 20, but it's certainly something to consider that the tank is getting absolutely demolished if they're not like an Omega tank, like super geared and know what they're doing. That there's huge tank busters on the next one, and there's a lot of pressure on that. and that there is in second phase a fear that you have to run away from, which I almost forget about here, but I do remember dying to it last time, just being like, "Why is everybody hiding?" Oh, and I was dead. So again, I don't. I've done this enough. I should know, but I don't like chain run it like over and over and over again. And yeah, sometimes I forget. I forget that mechanic. We got super yeeted there. That's actually really helpful. Helped me get up there. And just finishing this one up, I'm not really even aware of like any other mechanics. Just heal the things. And there's not too many scary like one shot abilities here that I have to be like, oh, they're targeted. It's time to heal them or they die. This is just like do the healing. Normal stuff. Get out of that. This is what I like. I don't have to think that hard here. I am. You can maybe tell by how I have my camera placed. I'm mostly just looking at health bars. I'm barely even looking at the mobs. My world. Um, my like knowing what's going on around me. Not my strongest on this class. Still, I'm still very much like, holy shock. What do I push next? Oh, there's a dispel. Like, I'm not like I don't have this perfectly done to like muscle memory and whatnot. So I certainly lose environmental awareness sometimes, and you know, on the hierarchies that's a problem, and I might not know exactly that this is being cast on someone, but that's something I'm starting to look at more and more. Do not back up to dodge those. Definitely side strafe at full speed. Um, Luckily, that's not a one shot. Dark Heart Thicket, that's a one shot. A lot of those floor mechanics from a boss, if you eat one, you're dead. So luckily that one didn't absolutely delete me. We do have our battle reses. So we're switching to the totem. I took a frontal, or no, that's the dot. I guess the dot hurts that bad. Wow. We're gonna probably have to commit divine favor. No. Oh, what are we doing here? We're gonna just try to heal through this one. There's the dispel back, and that was just a global off. Not too bad, but I think at the higher keys, again, backing up is not the move. Definitely want to do an actual movement. Dispel is back on cooldown. Cool. Basically, you don't want to skip a global. Um, Kind of need to anticipate that happening and immediately dispel it because, like, yeah, that's so much healing, or you could just dispel it. So, need to be a little bit more fearful of that. Looks like we're. Am I desynced or is like you just have to heal through it? There it is. Oh, okay. So, this is on purpose that they make this hard. Fair enough. This is getting a little spicy. Okay, so the thing to fear is actually these dispels to some degree. This is a better walk away. Yeah, there's like three of them. Just actually W key. So again, tunneling the health bars, not so much the awareness here. And at some point, where is it? Is it now? He's going to start casting his fear, and I need to be aware of this. It should be pretty obvious because everyone's going to just like actually run away. We're just waiting for a dispel to come back. Ouch, this is starting to hurt. Um, Not yet. Okay, we have another totem still. And I'm now realizing, in retrospect, that this is mostly, oh no, the dispels hurt an awful lot, and I probably could have died there. There's vision, DPM screaming at me, yet sometimes I still won't remember that. And okay, now the fight's a lot easier. A lot of the P2s here, the P2 on the last bus is also just like, okay, we're all done. Um, Still some group damage going out, but nothing scary, no dots either, nothing to dispel. Not too bad. Looks like we're hiding again. You can definitely hide behind that plant. I just feel like the LOS is more missable versus the big pillar. So I horsed over there, and yeah, we didn't die to this boss. No wipe, so that's nice. I'd say like the first boss was the first whatever like the boss that drops the oozes. We wouldn't have died to that. That was just an accidental trash pull. The mechanics were fine enough, and again, we're getting carried by our tank here, who can live this stuff solo. A lot of it. We're running into the gauntlet. There's been different evolutions on how to do this pull. This, of course, on Fortified next week is going to hurt an awful lot. There's a lot of damage going out. And I am considering bringing back Tears Enforcer because there are certain bosses where the damage comes out so fast that I need to pop Tears Enforcer, Hand of Divinity, just be juicing heals just by existing, basically, and then double instant casting into myself and then into my beacon targets, two huge holy lights, just like I do in Raid. There are fights like that here, and there are ads like that right here. So not this one. This is just this single sentry doing gigantic AoE. Good night me. Like imagine Fortified. Um, You know, maybe we do commit this, but eventually there's two of those, and that's a boss fight, healing wise. That is every AOE heal we got. It's a bait to try to dispel that. You can't dispel all five. I'm not a priest. I'm not a windwalker. I can't dispel all those. We just heal. So that was a little reminder right there, getting instantly deleted by that to prepare. Prepare for the double pull of the sentries. The single sentry, you know, I did die, so there's something where I should use a defensive. But anyway, when swell comes up, one, we're getting all these dots from these these little ones, these little corruptions. There's a stack and debuff, and now he's gonna just start pumping damage. So that one was a lot more livable. I still haven't used my personal. I also still have bubble, but I kind of want bubble for the last boss, ideally. On trash, if we just keep dying here, it's slow, it's annoying, but it's not gonna kill you outright. Darkness is probably helping. I don't know why I'm not standing in it. That would have been helpful. But we do live that one. I think that was and a holy light went off. I am not doing well here. And it's a bait to dispel. No, we shouldn't be using a global during that. We should just be group healing. I at least have beacons on the right people right now. That's helpful. These are going to die and give us the dot, but we are just going to move on to the next pull. It's more of these, whatever those are. What are they called? Aqua Mage. So this is the only kind of tech here, is to hopefully stand around here. This kind of pillar won't trigger more of the ads to spawn. I'm not sure that that's true or not, but I generally stand here. The tornadoes certainly threaten me chain pulling into the double pack, and the double pack is the boss. Maybe not this week, because again, it's Tyrannical, but there's still going to be some healing here. I'm pretty sure people are expecting to die. I don't remember exactly, but people are like, "Oh, what do we do when we, you know, how do we run back from here?" I was like, "Yeah, that's understandable. That we may not live this." Double swell. Why not use a personal defensive? There it goes. Okay, fair. That looked like a lay on hands to our squishy. Holy light's not the move, and we should have. Okay, there's our prism, and we're living. It's not too bad, but I still certainly get flustered and do the wrong spells when there's like huge group party damage going out. We daybreak without having glimmer on everybody. We just get saved by our cooldowns coming back. So that's Avenging Wrath into Divine Toll to clean it up, and we do live it. I'm certainly considering running tiers for that, and specifically Everbloom. There's a lot of these bosses where like you have to heal everyone back up immediately. Also, Fall, the time waste boss. As soon as the dot phase starts, it's like we need to pop everything, dispel, try to get everyone back up. It's a thing. This boss, let's see, what is bad here? So I think the most likely place for people to die, if you're doing the mechanic right, is right now. 1-2 ticks of that stuff will kill you. And I accidentally stand in that stuff sometimes. And to clear this off, apparently it takes a long time, but it is kind of hard to see. So I didn't clear up one of those puddles back there. I am just kind of running around. So that's not great. The ad certainly could kill people, and if you stand in the black stuff for very long, that does a lot of avoidable damage, and I'm the one standing in it quite frequently, I find. So we've done a good job of, our tank's done a good job of having them all die together. That's great. And we're going to try to position here, and it's the way out that hurts. See, ooh, almost dead. Probably could have bubbled that. It's getting out of that has to happen immediately. I find that that's the scariest part, and if anyone's like a little bit low going into it, you certainly die just to that. And so that's very avoidable, and on my end, I just am not good. Am I standing in it now? Yeah, not good. But that's pretty much the fight, as long as everyone does it right, and our tank is like, you know, expertly bringing all the mobs together to die right next to it so we can clean it up. And I keep walking in the stuff. Just don't walk in the stuff. Like, am I in it now? Not good. So a little afraid everyone... Ooh, okay, so there's... Yeah, so basically, like, especially... Oh, I'm standing in the stuff again. Not great. If you're low HP and you take the damage plus the tick, yeah, you're pretty dead. Even me, you know. I still have bubble. I feel like we could have committed it off of one of those to prioritize, like basically bubble to, you know, avoid dying, but also bubble to just like ignore mechanics and heal. Same as red. I bubble so I can do damage, and like nothing's stopping me. There's no casts coming in here. Nothing could ever stop me through bubble to doing damage. Similar for healing. Let's bubble and heal. Like, you know, even here, it's reasonable that like let's we had day, but basically be able to prioritize healing over me living, because I'll live for like however long Divine Shield is. But it all works out. We have even still another battle res should we need it, and it's all going fine enough. I need to just get out of the. If I don't stand in the ink and I get out of it quickly, there's not much going on here. Everyone else knows to stack it, and just need to clean up the ink a little bit better. But still not too bad considering. I don't think I've run a tide in a little bit. I don't think I've ever healed it. Um, I imagine a warrior again. If you just sit in the thing for like an extra tick, it's a significant amount of damage. And again, this is one of our guild members' alts, so he's not like as geared as like his main or something. So health pool not quite as big. But that's pretty much it for Tide. Good reminder for me. It's why I like making these. I just like to look back at like what mistakes I made, and it's always funny to look back at me getting flustered at like, oh, there's like 50 mobs running at us. What do we do? And I don't always handle that correctly. But we do time the 20. Tyrannical. Tyrannical, I think, is certainly harder here than Fortified. So maybe next week we just die to trash and less to bosses. Check you on the next one. Peace.